What is up, guys? The comment section of my previous videos of my beginner series have been literally flooded with questions. How do you farm the crypt? How do you farm the crypt? How do you farm the crypt as a beginner? And today I'll be partially answering this question because currently this is the 13th day of my account, and if you go to the Krypt store, as you can see, I am going to purchase the Midnight Stalker site, which is a bad thing to do because this piece is not really incredible at Fusion 0 or even at Fusion 1 considering the roster that I have. I don't even have Jason. Actually, I do have Unstoppable Jason, but it's not really incredible because Unstoppable Jason is Fusion 0, level 5, I believe. Anyways, I'm going to buy this one so I can prove that even on your second week in the game, you can more or less farm the crypt long enough in order for you to buy a rare piece. It can be a rare tower piece or it can be a rare crit piece, it doesn't matter. 3,400 hearts have been grinded, and I just used one crypt key. And to be honest, I shouldn't have used that because I could have farmed it a little bit today. As you can see, I just have one more free run, which I'm not going to do because it's not really that important at this point. Now, what am I doing? What is my strategy? How do I farm the crypt in my very first days in MK Mobile on a brand new account? Now, the first thing that you need to realize is that it's impossible for you, and you shouldn't be really trying to assemble a team that has, for instance, bonus modifiers like this, bonus points. It's not going to be good. What you need to do is to assemble a working team, even if the working team doesn't give you anything, for instance, like this. The point is, you need to finish the crypt. If you die on your first battle or in your second battle, it's not going to be really good for your progress, right? So the most important thing is to finish the crypt. So what I did, and this is most my strategy, in a second I'm going to show you footage of it, I created two teams that I'm usually running the crypt with. The first one consists of Cassie Cage, which is, by the way, currently exhausted, so Cassie Cage, Kenshi, and whichever the third character is. Usually I pick a character that gives some bonuses. For instance, characters that can take punishment and revive, such as Jason, are welcome. So this is the team I usually assemble if I want to do normal crypt, because the problem with normal crypt is that in normal crypt you cannot use diamonds. That's super bad, so it's only golds. For the hard crypt, what I'm doing is something like this. I'm assembling a team of Sindel, Scorpion, and any other card, to be honest. At this point, there is nothing better I can offer. If sometimes I even going to use Liu Kang, because he can be super useful in the crypt by applying cripple on his actually teammates tag in. So this is the team I'm going to assemble for the hard crypt. And of course, in 80% of the cases, I complete the normal crypt. I'm saying in 80 because in certain situations, I will fight a team that is going to beat me. Unfortunately, I'm going to be unlucky or something bad is going to happen, a gear that I didn't see. Anyways, so in 80% of my runs on normal crypt, I'm going to beat it, so I'm going to kill the final bosses. However, in 0% of the hard runs so far, I managed to defeat it. Because the crypt on hard difficulty, it's not going to be easy for you in your very first days. So what you need to remember is that your goal is to beat the crypt on normal and to get as many hearts as possible on hard. This is your ultimate goal. Now, how you do that? First thing first, I already mentioned, it is more important to build a team that works compared to a team that has a lot of bonuses and cannot do anything in the crypt. This is going to be the worst strategy, because if you can do just one battle and then die, it's not really worth it. It's much better to assemble a team once again that can perform in the crypt, that can dominate the fights without any issues whatsoever. At this point, Covertop's Cassie Cage is a character that is carrying me in the normal crypt. At Fusion 3, there is not really a lot of problems in order to beat the crypt. There are certain modifiers that are difficult. One of the modifiers is off balance, especially if you decide to adopt a team like this. So you have one really strong character, that's Cassie Cage, and two super weak characters that are giving bonuses. This is also a possibility, but it's very risky, because if you encounter an off-balance modifier, you're going to have a lot of issues. So make sure to bring at least two strong characters to the normal run. Another thing that many people forget to do is to use the consumables in the crypt. They're super powerful. Consider them as something like Krypt gear, or actually a tower gear, but you can use it in the Krypt. For instance, if you can, always add some damage to your main damage dealer. So if I'm using Cassie, I would like her to have plus 20% damage and plus 20% life. Usually, in the very same Krypt run that you're doing, you're definitely going to get anything that gives you life or damage. Don't use all of them. Make sure that you always have a little bit of those available, but also make sure that in every single run you use a portion of them. Usually I would use 2 pieces for damage, for instance going to be a small 4 stone, and sometimes I'm going to use pieces that, not actually pieces, I'm sorry, consumables that increase your health. And of course, there are consumables that heal you. Do not forget that those exist. Also, do not forget that you have the opportunity to heal your team for free by watching an ad once per run. But since normal difficulty consists of just 1 floor in majority of the cases, as long as you have a good gold fusion 3 or above that, you wouldn't have a lot of issues to beat the normal floor. Of course, this doesn't mean that you are invincible. You can still lose, especially against certain modifiers like enraged, like as I mentioned, off balance. Those modifiers you should avoid. But the general case is the Krypt is perfectly doable on your second week in the game, especially if you have been following my tutorial, especially if you got 5,000 souls on your very first day. If this is the case, then you shouldn't have any issues beating a normal Krypt on your second week. Also, in case you're having 2 strong golds and 2 other decently strong golds, it is also a possibility instead of 1 normal and 1 hard to try to do 2 normal runs every single day. This is also a possibility. Once again, make sure that you have a team that is strong. Don't pick team that gives a lot of bonuses but is super weak and your characters are, let's say, Fusion 0 level 17. This is the wrong thing to do. What you need to do is to make sure that you're consistently winning so that at the end of the day you can go to the Krypt and, as you saw in the beginning, you can purchase the thing that you want. And this basically begs the question, what should you purchase in the beginning? Now, the obvious answer is you shouldn't be really going for diamonds, because in the beginning, in the first, second, third week, it won't be really possible to grind that much unless you were extremely lucky in the first day and you got MK11 Scorpion Fusion 3 or something. But the general case is you won't be able to grind 14,000 hearts to get a diamond. It's going to be super bad, super difficult. So your options are you're going for epic piece or you're going for a rare piece. Usually, if you can farm 6,000 hearts without spending tons of time, the best thing to do is to go for the epic piece, especially if this piece is from tower that you're about to grind or that you are currently grinding. However, if this is not the case, currently I have the Noble Dainty Gesture in the store and it wasn't physically possible to grind 6,000 hearts. I focused on the rare piece and I managed to purchase it. So at the end of the day, in the very beginning of your MK Mobile journey, you don't care about the characters, you care about the epic piece and the rare piece. And there is one exception. If you see in the store characters such as Pyromancer Tanya, then she is worth. And of course, this assumes that you don't have her. If you have her unlocked, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether she's Fusion 2 or Fusion 3. What matters is whether you have her unlocked. So if you are in your third week of your MK Mobile journey, you have MK11 Scorpion, and you see that there's Pyromancer Tanya in the character store in the Krypt, definitely go for her and unlock her. If you physically can farm 7,000 hearts, it's going to be definitely possible. So if I have to summarize the video, in the very beginning, guys, do not worry about not being able to assemble teams that gives you a lot of bonuses. Just assemble teams that can perform in the Krypt and make sure that you gain as many hearts as possible. It is perfectly fine that you won't be able to finish a hard Krypt floor. Focus on finishing the normal every single time, and sooner or later the hearts will be in your account and you'll be able to purchase stuff in the Krypt. I hope you found this video useful, guys. See you next time. Take care. Stay safe.
Perfect.